All right, this is a demo of getting your channel content from YouTube into Excel or CSV, generally just exporting the data and doing so with table capture. So what I'll do to start is right-click the body of the page and go to table capture and launch workshop for selection. And there's this orange glow around an element, but we need the entire table to be wrapped. So let's click expand selection. Let's do it again. We still don't have the row or the table wrapped in that orange glow, so let's do it again. Okay, there we have the row, and now we have the table. But the thing is, it's showing in two columns, and we have much more than that, so let's click break columns, which is how table capture sort of creates columns when there might otherwise uh, not be columns in your data. So this first row is shifted and the headers are shifted, but that's pretty easy to fix afterwards. So this though, however, is um, it's a multi-page table. I'm actually at the last page, which is why there are only 30, 30 however. So we'll just do this in reverse. Um, and so let's do that. So let's turn on dynamic tables. Let's minimize. And what I've discovered with this page is if your mouse hovers over the table itself, um, I'm like very much trying to avoid the table. If your mouse hovers over the table, it'll introduce extra rows into the table. Do you see how this count is going from 30 something to 44, 45, 46? It's like going up. So this is kind of introducing noise into our table. You can see all of these. A bunch of these are probably not in the shape that we want. Or maybe it's just duplicates. These are probably just, um, it's hard to select text. NFT helper 40 and 403, 40, 403. Yeah, so they're just duplicates being introduced. So what I recommend doing is try to scroll from this header row here. Whoops, even then it didn't quite work. It really does take some um, careful scrolling. But yeah, I would recommend scrolling from there. Okay, let's try this again. Expand selection. Okay, now we have all the rows. Let's minimize. Let me go to this bar and scroll down to get to the bottom. Let's turn on dynamic tables. Let's minimize. Let's hit the previous page button. Let's go to this video bar, whoops, and scroll some. Let's hit the previous button again. Let's scroll to the bottom. And one last time, let's click that previous button again. And scroll. Okay, so now if we look at the workshop, you can see we have 220 rows, which is more than we actually, oh, I forgot to hit break columns. Anyway, it's more than I actually wanted, but there are also going to be footer rows like this, and maybe a little bit of noise here and there, like maybe a couple of duplicate rows. But this is generally the workflow, so I'll do that again kind of quicker. Sorry, this isn't my finest video. Expand selection, break columns, dynamic tables. Let's minimize this and scroll to the bottom. Next. And that's last page. Let's take a look at the data. Let's just put this into Google Sheets for now. Okay, so here's our data. You can see these rows are shifted. Video thumbnail. So let's shift these ones. This row here. Okay, so that's in a better place. And then let's just shift all of this to here. Delete these columns. And there you have it. Okay, well, these columns are a bit incorrect, but it's easy enough to update column headers. They're also usually pretty obvious what they are. Like this is a status, this is a date. Um, these are views and comments. Notices. Yeah, this kind of vibe. All right, that's what I would do to get this data, and then to kind of shape it up a little bit. Well, these are, I think this is the footer that came through a little bit skewed. So for each page, you'll have a footer. Um, all right, so that's the process. It's not exactly like a one-click export, but you will get your data in a pretty solid format. Thanks for your time.